Why do people watch
like a
horror
dark
movies? I've always been
fascination.
really interested in this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people want to watch this entertainment that just scares them, you know, senseless. And there is this, and I wonder how much of, you know, things on social media, we can grow addicted to being triggered in this negative way by stuff. And is it tapping into the same root of the negative side of all? And then we find ourselves fascinated by the bad things out there, and then negativity bias gets hold of us and shoves us even more in that direction. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist.
That's so interesting. I love the idea that social media might have the same pull as a horror movie. And also, you know, like maybe a roller coaster as well, which is another thing. I don't get. I just don't have that desire to be scared. Like, why would I do that?
But I've always been interested in, you know, like mountaineers. Why they do this? Why they have this place that's the sublime, and this terrible beauty that is threatening to kill them all the time. And then the wider story of them is that that it's their family is suffering, or their friends are suffering, because they get drawn into this kind of this deadly fascination, this deadly. This
and you're really likely to die from mountaineering. It's really it's one of the most dangerous things you can do.
It is, yeah. My friend Brendan, he kind of he writes at semirad, semirad.com, and he essentially retired from mountaineering for that reason. He realized that he was starting to become bewitched by this deadly feedback loop, and he just thought,
like, this is a whole season. Like, look, dark fascination. We've just listed 3 topics.
I know. Good. This is probably why I shouldn't have a beautiful bookcase in the way that you do, because I would fill it in about 30 seconds. I'd just go to my local Oxfam shop and just fill it with books, and then fill them, and then go on to bookshop.org and just buy everything inside. I just the great thing about having the Substack is that it's given me an excuse to be the person I feel like I've always been, but I've always felt a little bit embarrassed about how hungry I am for all these fascinating things going on in the world. But I've never had a reason to justify spending so much time down all these rabbit holes. Yeah. And it's really fun. And it's the feeling of, when I was a student, I would walk into the campus library at York, and it's an enormous place. I would be there for a specific reason. You know, I would be there to get a single book, but I would happily walk around for 4 hours browsing things that I just had nothing to do with why I was there. And suddenly the place is closing. It's just, it's great. Yeah, I mean, it's just a great way to live.
It is. It really, I wonder about the role of libraries as these kind of formative places for loads of, like most writers, I think, have at some point had a kind of a deep relationship with a particular library, almost like it. And for me, it was the Haddon Library in Cambridge, which was the archaeology and anthropology library. Your people. I was studying anthropology, and it was just the most beautiful. It was just beautiful. Like it had these. It was really old, but it had loads of natural light flooding in, and it had these long mahogany tables that you could work at, like massive dining tables, really. And I just remember thinking, I'm allowed to be in here. Like I'm allowed to like just be in this place, and nobody's checking what I'm doing. Like I can read anything on the shelves. It was this moment of absolute, because my subject library, the social and political sciences library, was a modern library, and it was quite chaotic, and it was always noisy. Like sociologists are really noisy. And it wasn't pleasant to be in, but you went into the Haddon, and it was like walking into a kind of Tudor manor that was full of books. And I still miss it. Like I just want to be there.